Everything seemed like it was going wonderfully. You and your avoidant partner were growing closer than ever before. As a matter of fact, you just went on a lovely holiday together. You had a dream trip. Things felt great and they felt close. Suddenly, you come back, and the next day, this person is distant. They're not really responding to you. They're taking space. They're giving you one-word answers, or perhaps they discard you altogether and tell you that they can't give you what you need and they're just not ready for a relationship, and the spark is gone. First, your mind is blown. Everything seemed wonderful. And just days ago, they were telling you how wonderful it was being with you and how you made them feel in a way that nobody else ever had. It doesn't make any sense. It was actually the emotional closeness that triggered them, especially if you're dealing with a dismissive avoidant or a fearful avoidant that leans heavily dismissive. The emotional closeness was the trigger. They felt vulnerable with you. And after being vulnerable, they have a burning need to run for safety. And safety is emotional distance. This is a person that learned from childhood that emotional closeness is not safe. They learned that they can't rely on anybody else for their emotional needs because their parents, their caretakers, they emotionally neglected them. They were not there for them in the way that they needed. On top of that, their feelings were routinely dismissed, if not outright rejected, reprimanded. The message was sent, your emotions aren't welcome here. If you want to be sad, go be sad in your room. Nobody wants to see it. Children are meant to be seen and not heard. They had that kind of childhood. So now, as an adult, when closeness is forming, it feels unsafe. And they feel the need to protect themselves, meaning create that distance. If they're vulnerable with you, you're inevitably going to figure out that you're too good for them. You're going to reject and abandon them. They have a low self-esteem, a feeling like they are unlovable. And it's just a matter of time that you figure out that they are unlovable. You're going to reject and abandon them. And because they were vulnerable with you, they don't feel safe with you. Because here you are being consistent. You're being loving. You're being compassionate. You're being kind. You're showing them affection. They recognize that and they don't feel good enough for it. So they seek to protect themselves. They take their feelings for you. They bury them. They suppress them. They don't allow themselves to access those feelings and they refuse to reflect on it. This is why they give vague, nonsensical answers, because they avoid. That's what avoidants do. They learn to avoid problems, to avoid emotions, suppress it, not deal with it. So they've deactivated and they don't know why. They think that the spark is just gone and you must just be the wrong person, because if you were the right person, they wouldn't feel that way. But in reality, it's because they don't self-reflect. But it's because their fears have been triggered. You got too close. It got too scary. It got too real. Early in the relationship, it's called the shared fantasy because there's no threat of emotional intimacy. There's no threat of emotional closeness. The dopamine's flowing. The avoidant is feeling good. They're riding that high, and they're letting all these bottled up, suppressed emotions pour out onto you because it feels safe in the moment. But something will happen that will inevitably cause the avoidant to think that this is a real relationship now with real vulnerability, real emotional intimacy, real commitment, potentially even real expectations and disagreements. And that might have been the trip you took. Or it could be the fact that your families met each other, or you went ring shopping, or maybe you actually tied the knot. But something happened and it's not a fantasy anymore. They got vulnerable, they got scared, and they pushed you away because it was going well. And because it was going well, they felt not good enough for you, but they don't want to go there. So this is a person that has these fears, this low self-esteem, but is completely unaware of why they do it, because they avoid. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It doesn't mean you were a bad partner. Actually, it's more likely that you did everything right and you were a good partner, which is why they felt scared. That's why they felt the need to run, because you were going to abandon them. It's just a matter of time. That's their mindset. It's very self-absorbed because they're only thinking of themselves. They're only thinking of their own perceived wants, needs, fears, and feelings in the moment. They are not considering how this blindsiding discard or pull away is going to affect you, because they're not really able to consider someone else's needs due to their complete emotional unavailability. A core component of emotional availability is the ability to have empathy and empathize for your partner, feel their emotions along with them. They're not able to do that until they heal their own attachment wounds, until they actually work on themselves. So it's not a reflection of you. You didn't deserve it, but it is painful. And have some self-compassion and don't beat yourself up, because it's nothing you did.